The world's dense and thick jungle foliage conceals a lot of mystery, and there's still plenty of things beneath the lush jungles that are waiting to be discovered. Like what William Shakespeare said, there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. If you've always had a knack for adventure and discovery, maybe you could be the next person to discover something mysterious in the jungle. Meanwhile, let's discuss in this video some of the most incredible and mysterious jungle discoveries. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. Let's start the video with the real-life Vietnamese Tarzan. Some people just don't want to be a part of modern society, never mind if it even has conveniences and advanced technologies to offer. Ho Van Lang in Vietnam must have gotten tips from the Sentinelese people because he shunned civilization and decided to become the real-life version of Tarzan. Now, what you might be asking yourself is why in the world would someone give up modern comforts such as Wi-Fi, Netflix, and the softest mattresses to go live in the jungle? Ho Van Lang has spent more than 4 decades in the jungle with his father Ho Van Tan in the Tay Trade District until the discovery in 2013. It turns out that Van Tan fled to the forest with then 2-year-old Van Lang after his wife and their other 2 sons were killed during the Vietnam War. To put things into context, the Vietnam War ended in 1975. They lived off the land for 41 years and learned various survival skills without knowing that the war which they had fled from had already ended. In 2013, foragers saw 2 jungle men and informed local authorities who decided to bring them back to civilization. Van Tan was already 85 years old at that time. According to a documentary made by photographer Alvaro Cerezo of Dog Castaway, Ho Van Lang has chosen to return to the jungle, which has been his home for more than 40 years. Another guy who was discovered living in the jungle for 40 years is Hiro Onada. In yet another episode of Strange Men Discovered High in the Jungle, we have Hiro Onada, who remained hidden in the Philippine jungle years after the Second World War ended. The Imperial Japanese Army officer fought in the war. He was a Japanese holdout who refused to surrender during the war's end. He remained in the jungle for 29 years, evading search parties because he believed that there were enemy scouts. He didn't come out until the Japanese government sent a delegation to meet him in 1974, which included his former commander and brother. They were finally able to convince him that the war had been over for decades and that he needed to go back home to Japan. He returned home to Japan and was considered a hero for his service to the emperor. He passed away in 2014. There's also a boiling river that kills everything that falls into the jungles of the Amazon. It sounds like a fantasy novel, a jungle that's hiding a deep and dangerous secret in the form of a boiling river that follows from the center of the earth and kills everything that falls into it. Andres Russo heard the stories from his grandfather when he was a small boy. When he became a geophysicist, he decided to investigate and find out for himself if the story is true. He left his home in Dallas and traveled to the Amazon. Located in the central Peruvian Amazon, a 2-hour drive from Pucallpa is the Pacatilla River. It's tributary of the Amazon that's more than 300 meters wide. The river is situated in Mayan-Tuyayaco, a forested region. The river's temperature reaches temperatures of 200 degrees Fahrenheit, although it's not attached to any volcano or magma system, which makes it truly unusual. It's the only river of its kind in the world. Russo has been studying the river for 5 years as well as the surrounding ecosystem. He hopes to figure out what's going on in the river soon. The mysterious rings in the Amazon also baffles experts until today. The rings discovered in the Amazon jungle remain a mystery. No one knows what they are, but some experts have said that they may have been used for irrigation, religious ceremonies, or defense. There's more than 450 of them found in the northern parts of Bolivia and Brazil. The round ditches were constructed by ancient people who were living in the area. According to scientists, the mysterious rings are older than the jungle itself. The most ancient are more than 3,000 years old. That's a mind-blowing fact. Sigiriya, the 8th wonder of the world. Located in Sri Lanka, this is an abandoned palace or fortress that is considered to be the 8th wonder of the world. It has origins dating back to the 5th century AD and was built on a 600-foot tall vertical granite slab that towers over the surrounding forest. Now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the place was selected by King Kashyapa as his new capital. He built his palace on top of a rock and surrounded it with colorful frescoes. Now only a ruin, Sigiriya is considered a crown technological achievement of its time. time and one of the first urban planning sites in the world. It was abandoned after King Kashyapa died and later used as a Buddhist monastery until the 14th century. It was featured in the 11th episode of The Amazing Race 6 in 2005, and a version of it is also featured in Arthur C. Clarke's 1979 novel, The Foundations of Paradise. A depository of carbon was discovered in the Congo Basin. The Congo Basin is abundant with life, but nobody knew that it held within the world's largest tropical peatland until the discovery was made by scientists from Leeds School of Geography and University College London in 2016. Cuvette Centrale is 16 times larger than previous estimates and is the single largest peatland complex anywhere in the tropics. The peat only covers 4% of the whole basin, but it stores the same amount of carbon below the ground as it does above. The peatlands hold nearly 30% of the world's tropical peatland carbon, which is about 20 years worth of fossil fuel emissions of the United States. Experts believe that peatlands can help reduce climate change by providing long-term carbon storage. It also supports a vast array of ecosystems, most of which are endangered. One of the most incredible discoveries in the forest was the lost city of the giants. Found in the forests of Ecuador, the lost city of the giants is one of the most important discoveries of the 21st century. Ancient legends in the country discuss a time when giants walked the earth. These creatures built huge megalithic cities, which were believed to have been consumed by nature after they were gone. It was the Aboriginals who led the group of explorers to a site which is considered holy. It's where local tribes went to gather to celebrate powerful spirits. Discovered in 2012, the site has one huge pyramid structure that's approximately 80 meters high that features steeply inclined walls made of irregularly shaped stone blocks that weigh approximately 2 tons. The walls of the building are made with hundreds of such blocks. One of the members of the team who discovered the site believes that this is the ultimate evidence that giants once walked the earth and built incredible structures and cities. The team believes that the giant odd tools found on the site is evidence of this. However, the Ecuadorian Ministry of Culture does not believe so. They think that the buildings and other artifacts are nothing more than natural formations. We'll never know for sure what their purpose is. Ever since the 1930s, people in Costa Rica have been finding stone spheres. Farmers had to clear jungles in order to make room for banana plantations. They came across several round balls ranging in size from a few inches to as big as more than 6 feet in diameter. Some large balls even weigh as much as 15 tons. Not knowing what they're for, they didn't think much, but used bulldozers to move them. Others resorted to blowing them up with dynamite. Rumors then started spreading that giant spheres had gold inside them, so people began to destroy them, but there was no gold. Nevertheless, proper archaeological investigation into their origins found that they dated as far back as 300 AD. To create these impressive spheres, these ancient people probably used a variety of techniques that included sand grinding, pecking, and controlled fracture. Contrary to what most people think, they are not perfect spheres, but considering the technology they had back in their time, they're quite impressive. The spheres are mostly commonly attributed to the now extinct Diqua culture, and they have been referred to as Diqua spheres. They are mainly the most popular stone sculptures of the Vietnamese-Colombian area. Lastly, we have the colossal Almec heads in Guatemala. The Almec heads are stone representations of human heads made from large basalt boulders. They range in height from more than 11 feet to as short as 3 feet. Found in the Guatemalan jungle, the stone heads were discovered in 1930. However, the facial features of the statues cannot be identified with any of the people who belong to the earlier civilizations. The stone heads are some of the most hotly debated artifacts in the world. To date, more than 14 heads have been discovered, the majority of which are in La Venta and San Lorenzo. Their heads were carved from a single basalt boulder, some of which have been transported more than 100 kilometers to their final destination. People believe that they used large balsa river rafts and log rollers to successfully transport the large heads. With an average weight of 8 tons, the task was challenging, to say the least. Which incredible jungle discovery are you most amazed by? Let us know in the comments section. Stay safe and we'll see you around.